I went from charging $200 per edit to making $146,000 a year as a video editor. But the moment everything flipped for me wasn't about effects, retention tricks, or chasing the algorithm. It came from one sentence a client said after our first project. He told me for the first time I could watch my own video like a normal viewer without anxiety. That's when it hit me. He wasn't buying editing, he was buying peace. That moment pulled me into a part of YouTube that most editors don't even know exists. There's a small circle of editors that quietly work on almost all the big channels you watch. Top creators struggle to find great editors because the great ones get scooped up and stay busy for years. I saw this myself when 2 of my million subscriber clients immediately went hunting for other editors the moment I paused their work. They searched for months. Every time they hired someone new, they would say, "Can you make it feel more like Josh?" But I didn't start here. In fact, I came from the complete opposite. I remember editing on a tiny, cheap Walmart desk in my parents' house, trying to grind my way out of $1,800 months. Even before my income went up, the pressure was already crushing me. One of my first clients paid me $120 and sent revision notes longer than the gosh darn script itself. And that moment taught me a rule that explains why editors hit invisible ceilings and why my income exploded right after. People who pay the least usually want the most. People who pay the most usually want the least. At $200, clients panic over every decision. At $2,000, clients question your judgment way less. And that led to my first shift. I am not here to be cheap. I'm here to be the editor clients trust so much they stop micromanaging and start listening. But the moment everything flipped came from a message I never expected. A client with 800,000 subscribers reached out and said, "I will pay whatever rate you want." So I quoted a number I thought would scare him off, and he didn't even blink. He'd been working with an agency that did fairly decent edits, but the videos felt empty. He said watching his own content gave him anxiety. But after our first project, he said that feeling went away. And that's when everything clicked. He wasn't buying editing. He was buying someone that understood the audience so well that creating felt fun again, because he cared about product sales, his brand, and feeling proud of what he posted again. So I'm gonna show you the real path I took to get here, the clients I turned down, the systems that helped me keep my sanity, and how I went from just another editor to one of the editors high-level creators quietly recommend behind the scenes. Here's the part that nobody tells you. Not all money is good money. Some clients make you feel rich on paper, but bankrupt your brain. Last month, I made $12,500, and that's just from editing alone. No YouTube revenue, no courses, just pure client work. Now, when you are broke, $10,000 a month feels like the finish line. And I believe that too, but when I finally hit it, I realized that it wasn't the finish line at all. It was the starting line. Because if you hit 10K a month with the wrong clients and no systems, all you built is a fancy prison. But before I show you the moment things really flip for me, I cooked you guys up a free guide called the 12 Viral Editing Secrets. It's what helped me get past $200 edits. The link's in the description. Now, for a long time, I thought being a serious editor meant doing everything by myself. Rough cuts, VFX, sound design, story, revisions, exports. But rough cutting was the part that nearly destroyed me. Getting raw footage feels special at first, like you're seeing behind the curtain. But eventually, it's like seeing Dwayne Johnson for the first time versus seeing him butt naked in his house every day for 10 years. The shock wears off. I wanted help, but I was scared to hand it off. I assumed an assistant editor would cut out all the good footage and I'd spend even more time fixing what they messed up. But then I hit a wall. Income was high, capacity was zero. So I finally tried it, and this is where everything almost fell apart. I passed off the rough cut, and he missed the deadline. And when the cut came in, the intro was in the middle was in the beginning, The outro was in the... I messaged him and basically said, "My brother in Christ, I love you, but I'm gonna drop dead and stand before God if you ever send an edit like this again." But a few videos later, his instincts started matching mine. Now, the rough cut isn't meant to be perfect, but it gives me exactly what I need, which is a strong base to build on. I cut my process down from 2 to 3 days to exactly 2 days. 2 days! Andrew rough cuts for Will Tennyson, Austin and Amog help rough cut my other client projects. And yes, they went through Elite Editor Academy, but they don't just edit with me. They each have their own clients too. Because if I can train someone into a great editor, why would I not want them on my team? The biggest growth came when I stopped trying to be the only brain in my business. When Ashley joined Elite Editor Academy, she showed me a trial edit a client ghosted her on. It was a war documentary, and she absolutely crushed it. Now, my ego said, I edit my own creator breakdowns. But my schedule said, you are drowning. So I handed one edit off to Ashley. And guys, everything changed. Creativity went up. Productivity went up. Every video still passes through me. I still give notes and tighten emotional moments. But she handles the heavy lifting. And if you're wondering how Ashley, Andrew, Amog, and Austin learned this level of editing, it wasn't luck. They followed the same system inside Elite Editor Academy. It's the framework I built when I outgrew cheap edits. The link's in the description. But before I show you the biggest shift that saved my sanity, you need to understand something. Revisions are the biggest hidden cost in editing. 10 paragraphs with notes with no timestamps will destroy your week. So I changed the rules. All revisions must be timestamped in order. No long paragraphs, no guessing, just clear notes. When clients trust you, revisions drop. When they're afraid, revisions explode. And at this stage of my career, I do not live in someone else's fear. Now, around this time, something else happened. I stopped reaching out to clients. I haven't asked anyone for work in more than 3 years because consistent results and word of mouth started doing the work for me. This channel became a client and student machine, but it didn't start that way. I just stayed consistent long enough for the compounding effect to finally kick in. But then I realized 200 views from the right people can be worth more than 20,000 views from the wrong people. So I stopped making videos for views. I started making videos for editors who want to raise their rates and land better clients. Now, when clients find me, I don't just keep them for myself. I connect them with students who can handle it. And I love giving clients away because it gets more editors out of the same scarcity I used to live in. I used to be $50,000 in debt, and when the money went up, I loved it too much. At $12K a month, I could still have a life, and a good one. But at $15K a month, I started to lose myself. On the outside, it looked like success, but on the inside, it was misery. I barely saw my family. This is the part where I gotta mention God because He's the one who pulled me out. Money doesn't give you lasting peace. Only God does. So I scaled it back. And it hurt short term, but long term, it healed me. So if I had to start over today, knowing everything I know now, I wouldn't start with learning effects. I'd start with learning psychology, systems, and people. But if you want to be in that top group and skip the years I wasted, you can't raise your rates without understanding why viewers stay, which is why I'm about to break down the psychological editing triggers top creators use without even realizing it. And you can watch that video here.